Hey Leslie.
Yeah.
Do you want to come smell me? Because the temperature is dropping, I gotta tell you guys my top 6 most anticipated fall fragrances for men. Welcome to the best smelling channel on YouTube. My name is James, and this is another top 6 Sunday for my lovely, beautiful, gorgeous viewers. I have a mixture of 6 fragrances that are both niche and designer. They're just ones that I really look forward to wearing, largely because I didn't get to wear them when the temperature was hotter. If you're not familiar with fragrances and how they interact with temperature, it's pretty simple. When your skin heats up, anything that is sweet will get even sweeter and almost too sweet, which is why you reserve your freshy, citrus-based fragrances for the warm weather and your sweeter ones for the cold weather. The beautiful thing about fall is there is a variance in temperature. Some fall days will be really stupidly hot. Other fall days will kind of resemble winter. So I got something for pretty much every side, every part of the fall-autumn spectrum. So why don't we just get into the list, y'all? Number 6 is by the house of Prada, and this is a house that I've really given a lot of praise to lately, but it's not the Luna Rossa line. This is Lum Intense. The first Prada Lum flanker, and still my favorite to this date. And that's because it doesn't double down on its fresh aspect. It makes it darker, hence the bottle design, by adding leather. And I love leather accords in really good quality fragrances. Cheap leather, not so much. Super uber expensive cowhide leather, that's a little too much for me as well. But this is kind of your happy medium fragrance. Really versatile, very manly and clean and modern and sophisticated. My number 5 most anticipated fall fragrance is Amouage Imitation Man. This is a fragrance that started off with a bang for me. I was obsessed with it when it first came out, and it really means a lot to me still to this day. But the thing is, I haven't really worn it for a while because of the temperature. When I first got this back in London, the temperature was actually pretty decently high. There would be some warmer days where I would pull it off, but I've grown to realize it thrives in the cool, mild weather like autumn and fall. This mysterious rubbery leather fragrance that has some green aspects to it, a little bit of a floral feel to it. There's so much going on, and it really suits this sort of psychedelic retro wave gradient effect. It is its own thing, and it's still one of my favorite fragrances of all time, but now the temperature will allow me to wear it appropriately. So that's good news. If you've seen my previous fall lists, you know that I'm a huge fan of Amouage Imitation Man as well. I still am. That hasn't changed at all. I've really missed this one, and I can't wait to wear it because it's probably one of my top 3 fragrances ever, y'all. But for fall, there's others that I'm looking forward to wearing even more. Number 4 is a Toronto-based fragrance house, and it's called Zoologist Bee. When I first heard about this fragrance and I read the notes, I was floored. Everything I could want in a fragrance, aka natural, really nice honey, and it didn't disappoint. But not only that, it surprised me in how it's composed because I wasn't expecting the floral quality to it. While florals tend to favor the warmer months a little bit more, especially late spring, the amount of beeswax honey in this keeps it for the cold, and I'm not quite ready to let go of the warm weather yet, so I appreciate those florals. This one is addictive. You gotta keep coming back to it, and you will get the chance to because it lasts forever. It has amazing performance, so you really feel like you're getting your money's worth here. Please be aware that this is strong, okay? It projects a ton, and even though it doesn't have any crazy polarizing notes like an overly smoky quality or a barnyard animalic leather quality, it's just very potent with that honey aspect. This smells like concentrated honey. It smells even stronger than just a jar of honey. Okay, it's strong. So careful, take it easy. When it comes to fall fragrances, however, I do like a little bit of woodiness, and this doesn't really have that, but it wasn't really ever intended to, so I'm not gonna hold it against it. But my other 3 fragrances, they just scream fall to me, especially 2 of them. Number 3 is one of the most underrated fragrances by Creed, and it's Tabarom Millesime. For those of you that are a fan of my channel, you know how I feel about this fragrance. It's one of the Creed fragrances that I still own. I didn't feel the need to sell it because it's so unique. It doesn't have any clone houses that are trying to copy it right now. It's one of the better performing Creed fragrances out there. It's one of the best use cases of tobacco in a fairly fresh fragrance. And that is why I love it. Don't think of cigarette tobacco, okay? This is like fresh tobacco. It's the actual tobacco leaf, and it has ginger as well, and it stays with you the entire day. It has this intoxicating smell that I can't get enough of, and I've yet to smell anything like it. Ormond Jane's Mon Tobacco Intensivo was another attempt at fresh tobacco, and I love it. I still own it, but it just doesn't quite compare to this. The vibrance of it. I do have an older batch, which I guess plays into it a little bit. It is pretty yellow liquid. Maybe I have the good stuff. Whatever I have, it's quite good.
Are you sure about that?
I wish I wore this more throughout the year, but for some reason, it's the brown label, it's the kind of golden liquid. It just screams fall to me. And I just seem to wait around all year long to reach for this. And it's about that time, so I can't wait. Number 2 is a designer fragrance, and it's a house that I love. I love this house. I had to order this fragrance online because I wasn't able to find it at a local Canadian Chanel boutique. It has a slightly more popular flanker with the name Plati. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's Egoiste by Chanel. Quite possibly the best sandalwood-based fragrance on the market. And for whatever reason, even though this is just kind of like a woody, cinnamon, sweet, spicy sandalwood fragrance, it's a compliment getter. And it's a combination of how good it smells, how masculine it is, especially for a Chanel, and its lasting power. It performs really well. I had the old school kind of splash version of it, and for whatever reason, this one seemed to perform better on me. So I wouldn't go hunting for the vintage unless you can find like the vintage cologne concentrate Bay hype beast. But if you can't find that, which is 99% of us, this one will take the cake. If you like woody fragrances, if you like the Chanel DNA, if you like nuance, if you want to smell different than your boys, has everything you want. The sophistication, the class. I have never regretted putting this on. It's always just a surefire, oh yeah, it's an Egoiste day. The only times that I wouldn't reach for it is if I just forgot about it and it was kind of in the back of my wine cooler. But every time I catch eyes with it, every time I lock eyes with this thing, it's just game over, man. I'm putting it on. But not tonight, because there's one fragrance that I'm really excited to wear, and it's a new release, and I can't wait to share it with you guys right now. The number 1 fall fragrance I'm super pumped to wear this fall time.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the...
It's by the house of Acqua di Parma, and it's a fairly new fragrance. I haven't been wearing it a ton, which is a big part of the reason I'm excited to really try it out. And it's Colonia Futura, yet another Colonia flanker. And as you can see, it has the black cap and the kind of clear bottle, which means it's a direct flanker of the original Colonia. Acqua di Parma can be a little confusing because there's so many different product lines. Sometimes you're unsure if it's just a Colonia flanker straight up, or it's part of the ingredient line or the blue line or whatever. There's a lot of overlap. This one really does feel like a modernized version of the original Colonia. Yes, it has the beautiful citrus of the original, but what I love about it is this little green label, this little matte finish here, and it sort of signifies the added note in here that I get most of, and it is vetiver. The introduction of vetiver takes this to the next level for me. And it's not only that, because on Fragrantica, you look at the note breakdown if you're curious. It's actually not getting crazy good reviews right now, which I'm a bit annoyed about. Just gonna put that out there. The least smelled note is pink pepper, but I get quite a bit of pink pepper in here. Once the fragrance dries down and the vetiver comes in, it's not just kind of damp woods or an inky Encre Noir vibe. I actually get a little bit of the Ginepro de Sardinia spicy sweetness, which is amazing because that's an amazing fragrance. So you sort of get the best of both worlds. You get the really classy traditional citrus, manly smell, and then it really develops into something different. It's not just a fresh blast that disappears, it has some character to it. I've owned Essenza, Intensa, Pura. This one puts a smile on my face, like, I'm not gonna lie. It does favor the warmer temperatures a little bit more just based on its composition, but it has that vetiver, which is that little bit of earthiness that suits fall perfectly. Now I'm gonna get Leslie to help me out here and tell me whether or not she likes this fragrance, because that's a big part of this whole thing, right? We're just gonna wait till she comes into frame. There she is. All right, how do I smell, Leslie?
Pretty nice.
Yeah?
Yes.
What do I smell like to you?
Maybe a slightly older man.
Okay, how old do I smell?
How old? Maybe 45.
45?
Yeah.
Okay.
A dad
Okay.
with not like super young children, but like a dad with like 10-year-olds.
10-year-olds.
Very
So
specific.
I'm a dad with 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Is it like a dad, like today's dad or like yesterday's dad?
I think yesterday's dad.
So it's an older fragrance for an older man?
I feel like my dad would have worn that when I was a younger
Okay.
person.
So maybe it's not as updated and modern as I thought.
Did you think it was modern?
A little bit, like the subtle changes.
I mean, it could be a more modern version of what I remember.
Out of 10, what would you give it? Just overall as a
Pretty
fragrance.
nice.
Yeah. Does it smell low quality? No?
No.
In strength, but also just the smell itself.
No, it's nice. It's not
Yeah.
like chemically.
Yeah?
It smells like a nice fragrance.
Cool.
I really like it. So maybe like a 9.
A 9.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. So according to Leslie, not overly modern, so you do have to like more sophisticated fragrances to pull this off, but she still really liked it. So make sure that's in line with your tastes. If you're a little wee boy that doesn't like Terre d'Hermès, no thank you, or anything along those lines, then maybe it's not for you. But it's definitely for me. I'm gonna douse my beard in this. Sorry, not sorry. Like and subscribe because I want to hit 20,000 subscribers. Finally, guys, please let me do it. I've been so good. I've been working so hard, okay? Anyways, that's the end of the video. Bye. Can't wait for fall.